Hey guys, welcome back to Bombchu. I'm Austin, and today I'll be looking at the Humble Monthly Bundle from April 2019. Spring is in full swing. The trees and flowers have covered my car with their yellow, dusty love, and I can't stop sneezing. But hey, cool weather soon, right? For now, it's a great time to stay inside playing video games away from the pollen, so let's dig in. This month's Humble Original is A Short Hike, an adventure game that takes inspiration from Animal Crossing. You're a bird on a trip, and you realize that you have no cell phone service, so you set off to hike to the only place with service. You'll quickly find that it's quite a hike, and you'll need some help to get there. You'll have conversations with the other animal hikers along the way who have their own personalities and problems, and if you help them out, they help you out in return. There's star shapes on the ground to show you where to dig for treasure, the music is super calm and relaxing, and the whole game has a very chill vibe. Where the game starts coming into its own is the fact that you can jump, climb, and fly. You'll be collecting golden feathers, which serve kind of like a stamina system to let you flap your wings or climb tall walls. These open up shortcuts that make it much easier to get to and from places you visited a while ago. And any game that lets me glide like this just makes me feel joy. Flying is also extremely useful for finding secrets, as you can get a broad view of the land below and spot treasures you might have missed when walking around there. The game leaves you free to explore where you want to and when you want to, but you have objectives and goals in mind, which is great for people like me who are bad at creating their own fun in games like Animal Crossing. I really love this one, and I can't wait to play more. Tannenberg is a multiplayer World War I shooter. Squad up with some friends, choose your classes, and go to war. You can win by either taking all the objectives or by letting the enemy team run out of respawns. I'll be honest, I did not expect to enjoy a World War I shooter. I figured the accuracy would suck and that it would be really technical, but I actually had a blast. Gunplay feels good, especially mowing people down with a mounted machine gun. They just wouldn't stop coming this way. I have no idea why. Shots that look like they should hit just connect, and it's easy to contribute to the team. Graphics are decent, though the faces are pretty funny looking. Controls make sense, and I didn't experience any weird problems with online play. It's a surprisingly fun shooter that I'd recommend trying with friends, even if you aren't usually into war shooters. She Remembered Caterpillars is a color-based puzzle game with hand-drawn art. In each level, you have little colored creatures that you need to guide to these white flowers. Their colors determine what paths they can take, like red creatures can walk on red bridges, but only non-red creatures can walk through red gates. You can also temporarily merge two creatures to mix their colors, like red and blue will make purple. Purple creatures can walk on both red and blue bridges, but they also can't walk through red or blue gates. The puzzles start off pretty simple, but within half an hour, I was already hitting some head-scratchers. Between levels, you're treated to small bits of a story that I haven't totally pieced together yet. The art is gorgeous, the music scratches an itch I didn't know I had, and I plan to get stuck on some future puzzles for a long time. These next three games I covered at the end of last month's review. If you've already seen my look at Northgard, Mutant Year Zero, and Absolver, you may want to skip ahead. Timestamps for each game are listed down below. Northgard is a real-time strategy game following a clan of Vikings. I'm not much into RTS games, but Northgard took me by surprise and feels a lot like one of the few RTS games I really enjoyed, Warcraft 3. At the start, you don't need every building and unit type, and no one's really coming for you, so you have time to think about what you want to do and can explore and grow at your own pace with a goal in mind. Gathering resources, forming buildings, and assigning villagers is a breeze, and people just go ahead and do their jobs. Created some scouts, they'll automatically explore the land for you. Have some injured people next to a healer, the healer will just heal them. You don't have to micromanage your people. I like the way expansion works, as the map is split up into large sections that you must clear of enemies to start colonizing. Colonizing costs food, as does having too many people compared to farmers. And in the winter, your people generate less food and consume more. You also fight worse in the winter, so sometimes it's better to spend that time building up your existing land and wait out the cold. RTS games live and die by their interfaces for me, and this game has a really solid interface that gives me all the information I need without confusing or overwhelming me. Combined with letting me take my time, I really liked what I played here, and actually plan to play more. Mutant Year Zero is XCOM-style combat blended with real-time stealth and exploration gameplay. Like XCOM, battles are turn-based with each player and enemy taking their own turn, performing movement to get into a good defensive and offensive position, and then taking the best shot they have at the enemy. This gameplay is tried and true, and it still feels great here. It's also not super difficult on normal like XCOM 2 was, so if that game scared you off, consider trying again with Mutant Year Zero. Between battles, you get to freely roam the map, looking for supplies and deciding what areas to go to. You can bypass battles entirely, or you can sneak around and pick off enemies without letting their buddies know if you're quiet enough, avoiding a fight entirely and still getting the experience and loot. It's rewarding, and it breaks up the strategy gameplay of combat quite nicely. I'm pretty terrible at strategy games, but I'd love to keep going a while longer with this one. Absolver is a highly dynamic multiplayer combat game. What makes this game stand out is the ultra-customizable movesets, with a massive wealth of options in combat making each player you fight a unique experience. Everyone I've talked to about this game adored it, but lamented that the multiplayer was dead, which was the main reason to play the game. There is a campaign, but it's really more like training for the multiplayer. I did manage to run into a few people who likely got it from this bundle, but we just kept helping each other fight AI enemies, which felt so wholesome I couldn't bring myself to attack them. That is until Kane left me to die when I swooped in to help him, that bastard. I chased him down and knocked him off a bridge, and I fell to my own death too, but damn it was worth it. Screw you, Kane. I'm not sure if Absolver is the right game for me. The amount of customization present is overwhelming to me, but I know this will be a lot of fun for some people out there if they can keep finding other people online. Minit is an action-adventure game you play 60 seconds at a time. Think Link's Awakening from the Game Boy, but with a time limit. Initially, you have a lot of options on where to go, but you'll quickly find that many of them require you to have an item from somewhere else first. You'll have to keep track of these spots for when you do finally find an item, opening up new paths and opportunities for you. But how on earth can you get anything meaningful done in 60 seconds? The map is very well designed to accommodate this style of gameplay, and any items you find you get to keep after you die and start again. The map is also too big to explore in 60 seconds alone, but thankfully you can find houses which serve as respawn points. Each new spot I unlock fills me with glee, but it can get complicated keeping track of where I've been and where I still have to do things. I can't imagine putting this down for more than a day or two without forgetting a lot. Great music, not the most appealing graphics, but they work, and the gameplay has me hooked. Steel Rats is a 2.5D action platformer with motorcycles. Levels are laid out left to right with a side-scrolling camera. You can move into and out of the screen a bit, which is necessary to avoid obstacles, take different paths, or take out enemies. You have a dedicated button to change your direction from left to right, or vice versa, and when you get good at it, it feels great to cruise through a level, especially when you start getting to your weapons. You can turn your front wheel into a saw blade, which boosts your speed and chops through enemies and many obstacles in a very satisfying way. You can also use it to latch onto pipes for some gravity-defying driving. You're rewarded for chopping stuff with money, which you can use to buy upgrades for your drivers, going anywhere from simple health upgrades to a move that lets you slam your bike down like a hammer and send out shockwaves. I'm not great at this game yet, but I really want to get better at it because it's flashy and fun, and I'd love to see a speedrunner get their hands on this. Dandara is a Metroidvania where you can't walk. That's right, no walking. Instead, you jump to adjacent walls, floors, and ceilings. Any spot that is white is fair game. Just aim and jump. Initially, I thought I was going to be terrible at this, because I'm not great at fine aiming very quickly. But the game is really generous, by showing you where you're actually aiming with the white line, and where your jump point is anchored with a green line. No green line, no jump, so you don't have to worry about accidentally jumping yourself into oblivion. You have a weapon which takes a moment to charge up, so you have to strategically plan where you want to attack from, and maybe move from wall to wall during your attack if your enemy doesn't die in one hit. It's fast and flashy, and despite having to move a bit less directly, it's a very speedy way to get through rooms. It also has some Dark Souls style mechanics. You earn experience from killing enemies and can use this to upgrade yourself in a few different ways. But if you die, you'll lose your unspent experience and can get it back if you make your way back to where you died. There are camps that serve as checkpoints, and you have a healing item that gets regenerated when resting at a camp. So far, I haven't found myself having much trouble with it. The one death I had was intentional to see if there was a death mechanic. The first few upgrades are quick to get and keep you at a pretty good health level, and the map you find early on is easy to read and figure out where you haven't been yet. Controls are tight, graphics and music are my style, and I for sure want to play more. So overall, how was this bundle? This month's Humble Original was awesome. Sometimes some of the games that show up there with an interesting concept mess up something technical or the controls are kinda wonky, but A Short Hike is a joy to play. We had some great early unlocks, which had me worried that the rest of the games would not be so great. My expectations were shattered, as even though I hadn't really heard of the rest of the games, they all ended up being really great. I was thrilled with just about every game in this month's bundle, even if they didn't wow me at first glance. So how much value was there? Buying all these at full price would cost about $172, while getting them at their lowest sale price would cost about $83. Overall, I'd say this was an awesome bundle. So many hidden gems in here that feel great to play, and lots of great music. I know not everyone will feel the same way, but so many of these games were right up my alley. Next month's early unlock is Assassin's Creed Origins. Let's take a sneak peek. Assassin's Creed Origins is the 10th game in the Assassin's Creed series, giving the franchise a soft reboot in terms of story and gameplay. If you haven't played through the rest of the series, don't worry, this one sheds most of the story, with some minor references thrown in for series veterans that aren't necessary to enjoy the game. There's no more modern day story, no Abstergo, no Animus to interact with. You're just a dude in ancient Egypt looking to put the ass back in Assassin. By the way, I'm still on Assassin's Creed 4, so if some of what I mention as new is in later games, I'm so sorry. Stealth is still the most efficient way to dispatch your enemies, but as always with Assassin's Creed, if you get caught, you can fight your way out, even if it means doing it slowly. Fighting feels much more action-oriented now, feeling less like waiting for counters and more like finding opportunities to chip away at your opponent's health. Get your adrenaline all the way up, and you can do a big move for a ton of damage. You also have experience and level ups now, which increase your strength, defense, and give you skill points that you can use to enhance your abilities. This makes the world much more open from the get-go, but if you try to do something with enemies around who are much higher level than you, you're gonna be in a lot more trouble if you're spotted. It's a refreshing change, as I would often spend my time in older games trying to get all the town objectives, only to find parts of the map artificially blocked off until I did more story. This is also the first time I've found mounts to be useful. In past games, they were so unwieldy, I just didn't bother to use them unless I absolutely had to. In this game, I have no idea if they control well or not, but there's a button to make them auto-follow the road, and another button to have them take you to your objective, so you get to just enjoy the scenery. It may sound dumb, but I really enjoy games that have an auto-travel system instead of a fast travel system. You get to take a breather between missions, and you get a much greater familiarity with the layout of the land, all without having to deal with getting yourself around. I'm surprised to say that, at least as far as I've gotten, I'm actually enjoying Assassin's Creed Origins. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of this video. This month we've partnered with IGDB. IGDB is on a mission to become the single source of truth about gaming and offer the ultimate online platform for gamers across the world. IGDB allows you as a gamer to track your gaming history, discover new games to play, create lists about what matters to you, socialize with fellow gamers, and help out by contributing information about games, platforms, and companies. One area of interest for me is game engines, and I love seeing what games share what engines. A ton of the games I looked at on IGDB had the engine listed, and I can click and see what other games use that engine. Wikipedia had this listed for some games, but a lot of the games I looked at that had this listed on IGDB didn't have it listed on Wikipedia. Enjoy the bird's eye view of Minit? That's listed under player perspectives, and hey, here's a list of games that play with that perspective. You can find screenshots, trailers, gameplay, news, reviews, and credits for any particular game, all under one page. To be clear, IGDB is not paying me, they just like my stuff, and I like their stuff, so we're promoting each other. If IGDB sounds cool to you, there's a link to them down below. Hey, we have a Discord. We talk about games, play stuff together, and I've just started hosting giveaways there. Cool. You should join. I also stream on Tuesdays and Fridays. I'm going to be out on vacation for a few days, so I won't be on this Tuesday, but I'll be back next week on Friday checking out the Nintendo Labo VR on the Switch. Come by and say hi. Finally, a big thank you to Gabriel Skaggs, Michael Slater, and all our patrons over on Patreon. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.